Hey guys, it's been a long time, but I decided I wanted to start making some build videos on Warframe. Um, First one I'll do is a my setup for Gyre. Not sure how you say her name, but I've really been enjoying her. She's become one of my favorite frames. Keep in mind, I'm nowhere near crazy endgame in this game. I'm kind of like middle road, maybe like uh if there's like noobs, intermediate, um, expert, like veteran, master, some kind of spectrum like that, I'm probably maybe like expert. I've done a lot in the game, but I've been lazy and haven't done much Steel Path because usually I just get taxied into missions with my friends. Um, so none of these builds are gonna be like for max level, but I will say any of the builds I'll be showing off on this channel have done have been able to hold their own in Steel Path Void Cascade up to like uh, level 400 or so. Um, but I'll get into the build. Um, there's a couple there's a couple things I've been trying to decide on for Gyre. Originally, I was using Sickening Pulse to increase the amount of electricity stacks she has on enemies by, and it just adds 10 stacks of electricity. Um, and that's very good because obviously her abilities do more crit chance per electric stack on enemies. Um, I've also been testing using Thorough Strike. You just cast it twice and their armor is completely gone, which allows the electricity to do more damage. So I've been jumping back and forth between both of them. I haven't found a sure winner yet between which one is better, honestly. Um, but with Archon Stretch, obviously, you never have an issue with energy. Not to mention also from her third ability. So I'm using Prime Sure Footed, but if you don't have that, I'd probably either go with Power Drift or Cunning Drift. Corrosive Projection for this one, honestly, she doesn't need Energy Siphon. And so like I said, my Prime mods aren't maxed out or anything. This is like a middle of the road build. Gotta have Archon Stretch for her because it's just free energy every single time she damages anything, pretty much. I got Rolling Guard just for shield gating or breaking a status effect or like not dying to heat or something like that. You kind of need both or two of her augments. Cathode current is absolutely necessary. I really like coil recharge because it just basically adds a second instance of your fourth ability on the field, and you can just pull it around with you and just get double the procs of her fourth ability basically. I put on Augur Message. Before that, I believe I had Augur Reach on. It's really up to you how exactly you want to do her stats. I like a decent amount of duration, and range is the second priority. Mainly just because if you don't have much duration on this ability, you won't have time to get a kill before it runs out to keep it going. Once you get that first kill, both of these abilities kind of just start ramping, and they always just stay at like 60 seconds duration on their own. But if you miss that window, you gotta wait on it to cool down before you can cast it again. You're kind of dead in the water, so you gotta be careful. Um, like I said, for this one, I'm using Thorough Strike. Gonna have to see if that does a better job of making enemies die faster to her electric procs than Sickening Pulse. I'm really not sure right now. And I have a Molt Augmented and an Arcane Steadfast. Honestly, with two of her 4 abilities never being recast, really, if you do it right, Steadfast might not be all that useful. Probably is a thorough strike, but with Sickening Pulse, maybe swap it out for a duration arcane or something like that. For my primary, I always try and equip guns that either complement what the frame already does or cover a weakness it has. Tenant Ferox, I've simply built it to just.
Cut down the.
Maybe I should mute Ortis. Just built it for electricity procs. So I just throw it out into an area and it just builds up even more electric stacks on enemies. If I wasn't using this, I might use Amprex. In fact, I'm considering using Amprex. Then on my Nell Prime, it's just my go-to single target killer. I've always liked Nell, and I got a nice Riven for it. Really put whatever you want here. I just prefer having this if something just needs to die immediately. I'll just point this at their head. Same goes for the Redeemer Prime. The only thing that really matters is bring you a primary that can apply electricity well. Companion, I just have a Doriga built for priming viral and electricity, just for even more stacks and damage increase. I'll show it a little bit now. Like I said, I haven't done much Steel Path, but I feel like just taking it into a Steel Path survival will do a decent enough job. I could just go to the Simulacrum, but I figure y'all would prefer to actually see it in some real action with enemies fighting back instead of just testing it against completely
Each enemy is more powerful than
paused
before.
enemies.
Only with true mastery of the Tenno arsenal will you succeed.
I should have brought some energy pads. That's something you might want to consider putting on her, is a preparation mod.
They have just shut down all systems. I'm sending life support capsules your way.
If you don't have much energy to start, always start with. She's a little bit rough to get started, but once you get going, the nice thing about Tharos Strike is you can just cast it whenever you need a quick heal. Let's see, just throw it down, pull your second ability over to the Ferox, and then that's a whole area just closed down.
Life support incoming.
You really only have to cast Tharos Strike when you feel like you're not doing enough damage. I really like her augment that lets you pull this thing around with you. Just because, like I said, it's just a second instance of her fourth ability.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
Tharos Strike is nice for heals. You can see all those red crits from the electricity. I was honestly seeing pretty equal damage in using Tharos Strike versus Sickening Pulse, but I guess if that's the case, why not just use Tharos Strike? Because 1, it heals you, 2, it's cheaper, and 3, it removes, it permanently removes shields and armor, which helps the whole team instead of you just applying more status effects, which only really helps you. Now granted, Gyre is kind of in her element here because this is Corpus and they're weak to electricity because of their shields. but I'm
Life
not as much
support
here
on
to
the way.
show. I'm not as much here to show the exact quality of the build as much as to show how it works, so that you can try it out for yourself, and then you can decide whether you feel like it's worth using. But I really like using that combo right there for area denial. Just put both of those on
Another life support capsule
one area
is now
and
available.
they'll just disappear. Oh, here we go. As long as you can hit your headshots, Nell is a very good gun. The thing I like about Gyre is that once you get her going, you kind of just don't have to do much of anything. You just gotta watch your health and shield. Make sure to shield gate. But another nice thing about Gyre is all of the electric procs keep stuff staggered pretty well, so it's very rare that you're actually getting shot at when you're using her right. Uh-oh. Now don't laugh at me if I die to the Acolyte. I haven't fought them much.
The raid is off to a successful start.
In fact, I may just run from it.
When you need it,
Oh, actually, I'm kind of killing it pretty well. This is probably how I'll do the mod showcase, is just show you the first 5 minutes of a Steel Path survival. Like I said, it's not really... I'm not really here to show you whether the build is amazing in this game, because in this game, that question is kind of relative. This game's more just about taste. What do you enjoy using, you know? So this is just to show some fun setups I've made, and then you can decide if you like it or not.
Wise Parvos, the low thief shall never know the cool caress of your crowns.
Whatever.
You have
Just give
learned
me your
here
money.
will serve you
Everybody's talking. If you guys have found any better helmet ability to put on Gyre, please let me know. I also tried Roar, but it really did seem like Sickening Pulse was doing better than Roar, just because with Roar, you couldn't really get enough electricity stacks on enemies to do the same kind of damage as you could do with Sickening Pulse. That might change if you use a different primer weapon. Like I said, maybe Amprex is the way to go. Or maybe even Epitaph. Maybe make it mod it for viral and electricity, maybe. That might be the way to go. But hopefully this will be the first of many build videos I show. I probably won't do any more Destiny 2 builds, honestly, and I completely understand if you want to unsubscribe because of that. But I do still love Warframe, and pretty much anytime I make a build, I'll try to start sharing it on here for anyone else that plays and wants to try things out or discuss how to improve mine by all means. So hope y'all enjoy this one.